The 111 was a second-generation jet airliner developed by the British Aircraft Corporation and later Romback from 1963 to 1989. Releasing a year before the highly popular McDonnell Douglas DC-9, a total of 244 airframes were built, with the last flights flown on April 26, 2013. Just Flights have released their own take of the aircraft for Microsoft Flight Simulator X and Prepare 3D, and in this review I'll be taking an in-depth look at the aircraft and giving my own opinion to whether or not this aircraft is worth your time. When installing the 111 from FS Pilot Shop, you're given an unlock key and a zip file. The zip file only contains a sole item, the aircraft installer itself. Run the file, select your chosen simulator, input your unlock key, and the rest of the install will be completed. Once installed, the Just Flights folder will appear in your FSX root directory. Within it is a folder entitled 111, which includes a 65-page PDF document, a tutorial flight, and a configurator which allows you to change between a default and a modded fuel pump sound. Aimed at replacing the Vickers Viscount on short-haul flights, the Hunting 107 was developed, which later became the backbone of the 111. The Just Flights model accurately portrays this aircraft through 6 different models across the 300, 400 and 500 variants of the aircraft. This includes different configurations for different airlines such as with and without the rear air stair and engine hush kits. The exterior model also features realistic wing flex, retractable landing lights, bump mapping across the body, accurate and dynamic night lighting, and a modelled passenger interior cabin. There are a total of 11 different liveries across both aircraft variants. These include Cymru International, British Midlands, British Caledonian, American Airlines, Cambrian Airways, Empire Test Pilot School, British European Airways, British Airways, Monarch, Ryanair, and Hapag Lloyd. There are 2 different versions of Cockpit that come with this aircraft, both of which represent some of the many different versions of Cockpit that the aircraft had during its development. The cockpits in these models do get the job done, but in some aspects they can be very basic. Gauges are in their correct locations and each dial is 3D modelled, which does bring the cockpit to life. Textures are also done in 4K resolution, allowing for higher levels of detail within the cockpit, including some minor weathering. The overhead panel is also majoritively functional, with some systems affecting how the aircraft will operate on the ground and once airborne. Do note that the 111 did have a stick push feature, which was added to stop the aircraft from entering a deep stall. The cockpit layout is simple and easy to understand, allowing both new and advanced flight simulator pilots to easily fly this aircraft in a realistic manner, following the checklist also included in the PDF documents. This aircraft is not high fidelity, meaning that there are some functions that are not active within this aircraft. A number of overhead panel switches are static, and there are 2 non-functional placeholder weather radar panels either side of the cockpit. Both cockpits are also missing decision height and altitude alerter panels, something that the real aircraft had, yet something that Just Flights chose not to include. This aircraft is also an F-Flights model. There is also a freeware developed by David Maltby over a decade ago, which has aged surprisingly well, but this is covered in a separate video. Click on the I to watch that. The 111 also includes a Sperry gyroscopic autopilot, which can be programmed via the FSX built-in GPS function. The Sperry autopilot uses the number of gyroscopes within the aircraft to keep it stable and to determine the heading of the aircraft. No autothrottle was included in the aircraft, and altitude select was never a feature, hence the altitude alerter. Both variations share the same flight dynamics of the 300 series aircraft. The aircraft flew at a maximum altitude of 35,000 feet, with climb really starting to be affected by 30,000 feet. Top speed of the aircraft when in cruise was 476 knots. Powered by the Rolls-Royce Spey engines, the 111 was underpowered from the get-go, but there was no alternative engines available, with Rolls-Royce going through bankruptcy at the time. Known as the little engine that could, it became iconic over the thick black smoke the exhaust produced and the loud noise it made when flying overhead. The Just Flight 111 also simulates over-rotation and deep stall. This is where, if the aircraft was pitched to a certain degree, the airflow around the wings to the engine would be disrupted, losing all thrust from the engines. Sound samples of the Rolls-Royce Spey engines have been included with this package and give the user an immersive feeling when flying this aircraft. Sound sets from both the interior and exterior of the aircraft include the different engine spool stages and the iconic startup whine of the 111. I don't think all sounds included have been used, however, with the APU being silent at all times. Unfortunately, all aircraft do also have the same sound sets, including with and without the hush kit, meaning some sounds may be inaccurate for certain aircraft. When I first got this aircraft, I was very adamant at how realistic some of it was, but as I flew it more and did some research on the history of the 111, it was only then I really started to appreciate this model and what it gives the user. Yes, the cockpit does miss out on some basic features such as altitude alerter, but as an aircraft, the Just Flight 111 does give the user a nice level of immersion when flying older jets. For some people, however, this may not be your style. You may not like the older flight systems or find your FMC essential. At $37.99, the price is also a little bit higher for this aircraft, but looking around, there are places where you can pick this up for much cheaper. Likewise, you can always try out the David Maltby version as an alternative, but in terms of what Just Flight are offering, then this aircraft doesn't disappoint too much and will give the user a good experience, especially for fans of the old generation jets.